It was 5:27 in the morning and it was freezing outside. I live in Durango, Colorado, and so it was about 19 degrees, and I get in my car, start it, and the frost is going, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to go to my workout. And on the way there, I call my mentor, Michael, and we're talking, and about 2 minutes into the conversation, Michael's like, well, what's your next move? And I had no idea. I was stumped. I was lost. And he's like, you have to be more strategic in what you're doing. You can't just hope you get there without knowing your next moves. And he suggested a book, Knowing Your Next 5 Moves by Patrick McDavid. And this book has helped thousands of people. And I believe by knowing your next 5 moves, it allow you to be versatile, it'll allow you to be a visionary, and it'll allow you to go vertical in your business. In the next 5 minutes, I'm going to share with you 10 clarity questions my mentor asked me. I'm going to share with you guys how to have risk management in your life and in your business. I'm going to share with you guys how to be versatile, how to have adaptability in your business. So let's dive in, right? What's the biggest problem or challenge that you have in your business? What is your purpose? What's working best? The goal is, I should stop doing. What are you afraid of? What makes things infinitely easier? What's your superpower? What things am I still doing that I would not enthusiastically do again? And then what are my bottlenecks? So these are just a few questions. These are 10 of 30 plus questions that we have. And I can give you access to all of them. I have a weekly webinar that we do, put 100K in the bank in 100 days. And a part of that webinar, I give you access to these questions. So go ahead and click the link below. 100K in the bank, 100 days, sign up for it. And if you're a real estate agent, and we'll share with you guys these clarity questions to help you get super clear on what your next moves are going to be. Because if you don't know these questions, if you don't have an answer to every single one of these questions, and you can't just rattle it off, then you haven't strategically thought through your business and your life. And if you haven't thought through those things, you're just going to end up, you're not going to end up. Jim Rome has a great quote: you're either going to end up at a well-designed destination or an undesigned destination, right? If you want to end up at a designed destination, you have to ask yourself these questions, right? And so certain questions are going to help you mitigate the risk. And in Knowing Your Next 5 Moves, Patrick McDavid goes over a ton of different scenarios. I really enjoy listening to that guy. But one of the things is asking yourself the fear and greed question, right? Am I doing this because I'm fearful, or am I doing this out of greed, right? And then what are your motivating needs? What's the motivation need from this, right? What would other people say? Asking for advice. I think that's what will other people say, and not caring what other people say, but knowing how to respond to those other people, right? And then role playing. So if you're going in for an interview and you don't know what questions they're going to ask you, then role playing the questions you think they're going to ask you. If you're going in for a raise, or if you're trying to sell somebody your services or your product, understanding what your objections are, right? What are the objections that people are always going to ask you, and making sure that you have answers to those objections before you even go in. Because if you sit down and think about okay, well, if someone asked me this to do what I'm asking them to do, my objections would be this, right? And so figuring out what those, or asking some friends hey, if I asked you to do this, what are your objections, right? And then that way you figure out, you get a pulse on what people are actually thinking and what their objections are going to be, and how you're going to answer every single objection before they even, right away. And it's being strategic in your moves versus just running around and wandering through life and hope it all works out. You hope you get that raise. You want to live in hope, don't get me wrong, but you want to try to remove all the junk that's going to be in your way and just get a super clear on how you're going to get to where you want to be, right? Asking a trusted advisor on their feedback, thoughts, your mindset on it, making sure you have the right mindset on it. We have a Create a Millionaire mindset, so I'll leave a link to that down below, and that's my gift to you guys for just checking this out. And then over-delivering, right? When you sell someone something, or your product or your service, or you're a real estate agent, over-deliver on what you promise them, because it's going to, almost figure out okay, I'm going to add this bonus, and those are the bonuses for them signing up. But then I'm going to have these 3 other bonuses, or these 3 other things that I'm going to do that goes above and beyond. And that way they're like, oh my gosh. And it doesn't take a lot to impress people, because no one's doing anything to impress people, right? They're just basically all in for they're just trying to take people's money. And then it's very transactional. It's not relational. And so I want to encourage you to figure out how to make yourself different. What are the things that you can say? What are the things that you can do to set yourself apart and over deliver on those things. And then adaptability, right? If you're asking yourself these questions, then it's going to be adaptable. Like, hey, what's the worst case scenario? What if COVID happens again? What if this happens? And if I'm running my business, what if this happens? What if the sound goes out? What if I'm shooting this video and somebody calls me, right? Whatever it is, like, how do I mitigate all of the things that can happen before they happen? And how do I play worst case scenario, best case scenario? All of those things will allow you to be adaptable. And then it's almost like you're running an option in football, right? So an option is the quarterback gets it, says hike, boom, gets the football, and he's running to the side, and the running back's running with him, right? Depending on what the defensive end or the linebacker or whatever defense scheme they have going on, depending on if they crash on me, then I'm going to pitch the ball, right, to my running back. If I fake it, and they're leaning that way, then I'll keep it and run for 10 yards. Or it's I'm running this way, I could pitch it, or I could throw it before I cross the line of scrimmage, right? So it's all of the things, having options based on what their moves are, right? And so knowing your next moves will allow you to move strategically in their next moves. And so I'm going to end with this story. There was an amazing chess player, and